Hi, I'm Steve Garrett, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the organization of your student participants at RILA. How do you organize them? And this is a difficult topic. I mean, I can give you a nice little organizational chart, but I got to tell you, I've seen RILAs with as few as 24 kids, and I've seen RILAs with 600 plus kids. So how you organize them has got to be a little bit more flexible than that. It doesn't matter if it's small or it's large. What matters is that you've got a way of dividing the kids up into manageable groups. And the other thing I think is important is the maximum amount of Rotarian involvement with the young people. Now, we know a little bit from the experience of the United States military that groups are best when they've got somewhere between 6 and 12 members in them. That's an Army squad. Now, I wasn't in the military; I was in the Air Force, but we even organized the Air Force somewhat. You never can tell. 6 to 12, that seems to be a good sized group. So, however many people you got, divided by 6 to 12, some number in the middle there, and you start coming down to what size group you should have. One of the strategies that I have espoused, followed, encouraged, is that you divide your group into 6 parts. So if you got 600 kids, you divide them into 6 groups of 100. If you got 60 kids, you divide them into 6 groups of 10. Why do I pick 6? Well, I pick 6 because it seems like most RILA programs have somewhere around 6 meetings, plenary sessions, if you like it that way. But there's another reason. It becomes an example of how Rotary is organized. Rotary is international. We have Rotarians on 7 different continents, but you can't really count Antarctica because I think there's only 2 Rotary clubs down there. And they're somewhat seasonal, I guess. So just take the other 6 continents. And the smallest, which is Australia, and they've got a lot of Rotary clubs. But it's a good way to show that Rotary is an international organization, is to break your kids into continents. So if you put 2 groups in a continent, that's 12 groups total, 8 to 10 kids. You're in the smaller groups. You could even have just a group with one continent, no subgroups. And you could go all the way up to 12 groups in each continent, a total of 72 subgroups. So it's a flexible way to divide it up. Not only does it demonstrate the internationality of Rotary, but it also is a good way to divide them up. Now, if you do that, you can have up to 864 participants easily. In other words, it's an organization that works that way. And I would divide up my continents, however many there were. Let's say in the case of one district I'm very familiar with, they have about 300 kids. And you divide that 300 up and you get about 50 kids per continent. And if you break that down into groups of cities, and so 50 kids, you could have 10 cities with 10 kids each, or 8 cities with 8 kids each, or whatever it is. You divide it up. And then when you have the cities, that gives them an identification of cities where Rotary is active. It's a pretty good way to divide it up, and it's a pretty good example of the internationality of Rotary. And if you do it that way, you're going to have 30, 40, 50, 60 Rotarian participants, each one of them handling one group of 6 to 12 kids, a city, if you'd like. And it gives you a lot of involvement where you have an individual Rotarian with a small group of young people. And that seems to be one of the magic things about RILA, is when you get down to that level and the Rotarians get all excited about Rotary and the young people get to meet Rotarians that they might not otherwise get to meet. They pretty much get to meet their parents, their friends' parents, and the school teachers and the principals and their coaches and their youth group organizers. But there's a lot of people in the community they don't get to meet. So it's my idea about how you organize a Rotary Club. give it a shot. You might like it.